Hello students, in this video we'll learn about how to configure router and switch using packet tracer. So before we start doing the experiment, we will explore this packet tracer window. So this is actually the packet tracer window where in the topmost path where you all have the menu, file, edit, options, and so many menu. And here in the bottom path, you have the device palettes. So you have the networking devices like routers, switches, hubs, wireless devices. Then you have the end devices starting from the traditional end devices like PC, laptop, server to the IoT based devices, smart home, smart city, industrial, and the power grid. And also you have IoT boards. Then this symbol stands for the connections, various type of wires like coaxial wires, fiber wires, crossover wires, straight through wires, console wires, and also you have some other options. So here is where you could see the status window. There are two types of modes in Packet Tracer. One is the real-time mode where you can see the logical topology, and in the simulation mode, you can really see how the packet flows in the network. And similarly, here also you have the logical topology window and physical topology window. So now we are going to work in the logical topology window. Let us simulate a small network and also understand the configuration of routers and switches. So for that, I would like to have a PT router. So I would like to place a PT router in the workspace. This is what you called as a workspace. And then I would like to place two PT switch in the workspace. And also let me keep two PCs per switch. And now the next I'm going to connect all those devices. For that, let me select this automatically choose connection. So I just press the control key and then click this connection so that I can have multiple connections. So after making the connection, it could be good if the port numbers are visible in the simulation. In order to make the port numbers visible, let's go to the option, preferences, and here always show port label in the logical workspace. Just click that. And after you check that box, you close it. So when you come to the workspace, you could see that in the workspace, the port numbers are visible. Now let us start doing the configuration of this topology. Let me start with this PC. So I would like to assign the IP address of, go to the desktop, IP configuration, and I would like to give the IP address of 192.168.2.2 class C IP address. Similarly, 192.168.2.1. Let my default gateway be 2.1. So I have closed it. Similarly, this PC, I would like to have it as 192.168.2.3 and 192.168.2.1. So the default gateway, I've given it as 2.1. So let us come to the switch. So in the simulation mode, if you click the switch, you can see a tab called CLI, and here you can see the switch prompt. Okay, and now we are going to explore about the various modes of the switch. So this mode where we are in is called the user execution mode. So let me try to increase the font size of this. Yes. So now you could see that the prompt where we are in is called the user execution mode. So now we have to navigate from the user execution mode to the next mode. In order to navigate it, The command used is enable. So when I give enable, it just move to the next mode called the privileged execution mode. So the symbol hash, that mode shows the privileged execution mode. So in order to do any configuration, we have to move from the privileged execution mode to the configuration mode. So in order to move there, I should give configure terminal. So I just type configure terminal and it now moves to the config mode. So here in the config mode, I can do all sorts of configurations. So to start with, first I would like to give the host name for the switch. So I say host name switch, let me say net 1. Now you could see here that the switch name is changed. Okay, so the name of this switch is changed to switch net 1. So after you just change the name, I would like to give the clock. I want to set the clock for this switch. So the command used is clock set. So let me set it to 9, 10 minutes, 10 seconds. And I would like to set it as December date and year. So now we are in the configuration mode. So we are going to set the clock. The clock command works in the privilege execution mode. So in order to move to the privilege execution mode, I just give exit the privilege execution mode. The command is clock set. Let me say 10, 10, and it is December 06, 2022. So the clock is set. So now if I go just exit, the command enable, the short name for enable is en on T. So I'm now in the configuration mode. So we are going to set few passwords for this switch in order to set a password. So initially, if you see now, the user execution mode and the privilege mode is not secure. So once you give en config to anybody who just get the access of a switch and type en and config t, they will be able to go in. So I'm going to secure the privilege execution mode. So in order to do that, the command is enable password, right? And I'll give a password name as Cisco, or I'll give Q1W2 E3 R5 T5. Okay, so let me just have Q1 W2 E3 R4 T5. So this was my password. So now we'll just give an end. All right. And I'll just give an exit. So now I'm in the user execution mode. After giving en, if you just go to the next mode, if I want to go to the next mode, it asks for a password. So now I type the password Q1. So once if I type the password, it is secure. So now the switch has two type of memory. One is a permanent memory and the other one is a temporary memory. So the permanent memory is called whatever we just do during the runtime of the switch. Now, okay, so it is stored in the temporary memory. So I can see the temporary memory by giving show start. So sorry, show run. So if I give show run, I could see all the configurations. I could see the host name set, the password set, everything I was able to see here in the temporary memory, and all the interface name, the IP address that I set for those interfaces, everything you can see here in the temporary memory, that is the running memory, so, running configuration. So the permanent memory is always stored in the startup configuration. If I give show start, it says startup configuration is not present. So now, if your switch is off by an accident or an administrator switch off the switch, So all your data will get vanished because it is stored in the temporary memory. So how can I store the data in a permanent memory? So for that, the command is copy, run, start. So it will ask destination file name, is it startup hyphen config? So just give OK. This is one command. And there is also one more command called write. So simply give WR. So again, that is also equivalent to that of copy, run, start. So WR, write command is equal to that of copy, run, start. So now if you see, show start. So whatever details we have in the running memory, it is the password, everything is stored. Now if you could wonder and see, the password is stored in the plain text. So whatever, if somebody just type the command show start or show run, they'll be able to see the password. So we need to secure this password. In order to secure the password, what you can do, the command that you can do is enable secret. So you can give the password. So I have given enable secret. Sorry, we have to give it in the configuration mode. So, okay, so now I've given a encrypted password. Now again, I just go exit and show, I just copy it and I give show start. So now you see that a password stored in the encrypted format. And there is also a plain text of this format. So what can I do for it is, you can again encrypt that password also using the command config t service password encryption. So service password encryption command will encrypt all the passwords that you have set for the switch. So enable password command is to give a plain text password for the privilege execution mode. Enable secret will have an encrypted password for the privilege execution mode. Suppose you want to encrypt all the passwords, you can go for service password encryption. So now again, we'll do a exit, we'll do a write and show start. Now you could see that the password is in the encrypted format. It is no more in the plain text, right? Now we are going to see about one more mode where you can access the switch. So usually a real switch, okay, so what you have in your labs will not have a user interface. So as it is a simulation mode, you were able to access the switch using a CLI prompt, but usually the switch will not have any user interface. So how can you access the prompt of the switches? Through a method called console cable. So a light blue color cable. Usually they'll connect that to the console port of the switch, to that of RS-232 port of a PC. So now you have connected it. Now you click the PC in the terminal. You click the terminal and let all these settings be as such. So once you give OK, now you could see that the switch interface is accessed here. All right. So now you could see that, yes, it is done. So the switch prompt is accessed. Okay. So now what is really threatening here is, suppose let's imagine that this person is somebody called an attacker, and even he can connect the switch using a console cable and access the switch. So once he goes to his terminal and click OK, the switch is available for him to do any configuration for deletion or addition. So now we have to really secure this mode, the user execution mode, the console mode. In order to secure the console mode, what is that we are going to do now is, let's just come to the switch, CLI, Okay, and again en. Now it is asking for the password. So let us type the encrypted password. So after you just go here, conf t configure terminal, the short form for configure terminal. So now here I am, and now I'm going to set the password. The command is line console 0. Okay, so let me say line console 0. It goes to the line interface. Okay, then now I set a password. Okay, so I say password, let me say Cisco. Okay, and then you have to ask the password during login. This is what I just say here. So line console 0, password Cisco, and login. So then I just come and give an exit. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to set a banner also. So if anybody who access the switch will see a small message of the day. So for that command uses banner, MOTD, message of the day. You use some special symbols. So I'm going to use a dollar symbol. And here I give only admin allowed. And just I end with a again a dollar symbol. Now the banner is also set. So I just give an end. And here I just copy it to the permanent memory. Now let's try to access the switch through the console port and try and check what is there. So I just go to the terminal, give OK. So when I click, yes. So now you could see that only admin allowed and it is asking for a password. So let me type a password. So once if my password is right, it goes in. Again, it is asking for the password in the privilege execution mode. So I type my encrypted password. It is now inside the configuration mode. So this is how you will do the configuration for the switch. So now if suppose you want to do the configuration of a switch remotely, so most of the network management operations nowadays are through remote. Okay, so administrator will be in a building and he will be able to access all the switches in the network. So how can we do it is you have to enable telnet or SSH in the switch, and also you have to give an IP address for the switch. So usually you cannot assign IP address for the switch, but for management purpose, you can assign IP address for one port of the switch, that is the VLAN 1 port. So let me go to the config terminal. So I say interface VLAN 1. All right, then I set IP address. The command is IP address. The short form is IP add 192.168. It is 2 dot network. So I say 2.4 and the default gateway, sorry, the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. And also I say that the default gateway, okay, so I'll just come out of the interface mode. I just come out of the interface mode. Now I wish to give the default gateway as, okay, we'll try this 192.168.2.1. Okay, so if you have any, so it is default. Yes, the command is IP default gateway is 192.168.2.1. So the command used here is IP default gateway. Now the default gateway is set. So let's just come out and copy. Yes, it is copied. Right. And then now we have to enable telnet. Telnet is one protocol which helps to access the switch or any devices remotely. So I'm going to enable it. In order to do that, config t line bty 0 to 2. It means that I'm giving the access to 0, 1, 2 devices. Okay, so that is three devices. I'm just giving access to three devices. Then I set a password also for this Cisco, and then I just give exit. All right, and give an exit, and then you just copy it. Now this switch is fully configured with host name, passwords, banner of the day, IP address, and also the telnet options. So quickly, we will have a recap on what all the configuration of switches that we saw. Configuration of switch. The first thing is we saw how to set a host name for the switch. Second one is how to set the clock for the switch. Third one, how to set the banner for the switch. Fourth one, set privilege execution, privilege mode password. Then fifth one is set secure privileged mode password. Then the sixth one is how to connect console port. Then seventh one, console connection configuration. Then the eighth one is management IP assignment to the VLAN. And the ninth one is configuration of telnet in the switch. So these are the different type of commands that we saw for the configuration of switch. Now this side of the network is ready. We'll go to this side. So here also, if you could see, there are two interfaces connected to the network. So this side of the network, let's say it is 192.168.2.0/24 network. And this side, I wish to have it as 192.168.3.0/24 network. So all the commands that we discussed for a switch is applicable also for the router. So let us say I'll come to this PC desktop 192.168.3.2, and the gateway I wish to set it as 3.1. Similarly here, let's say go to the desktop IP configuration 192.168.3.3 and 192.168.3.1. So the default gateway is set and this PC is also ready. Now we have to set the default gateway password in the router. For this network, this is the gateway. This is the path where the packets of this network can go outside. Similarly, this FA1/0 is the interface for this network, exit interface for this network. That is 3.0 network. Any packet from this network can go out only through FA1/0. So now I am going to set that default gateway in the router. Let me come to the router. Again, you can, the first question it will ask is, would you want to do an initial configuration? So just click no. So the router can also be connected through a console cable to a PC or a laptop and the configuration can be done. So in the simulation mode, we have an option called CLI to do it. So this is a user privilege, user execution mode. So I type EN to go in, then config T to move into the configuration terminal. So first let me set the IP address for FA0/0. So I'll type int FA0/0. So you want to find it out what is your interface number. So for me, it is FA0/0. So find out from your simulation topology what is yours and type it here. Okay, and then just click and give IP address 192.168.2.1. That is what is the default gateway, right? So 2.1.0. And by default, the interfaces of a router will be down. So we have to put it up. So to the command is no shut. The command used to put it up is no shut. So now as soon as I give no shut, you could see that the interface has changed to green. Similarly, let us give it this side as well. So let me come here and type an exit, then give interface FA1/0. So this side gateway address is 3.1. So I'll give IP address 192.168.3.1, 255.255.255.0, and give no shut. So now you could see that this side interface is also up. So the entire network is configured with the IP address. The switch is also configured with suitable commands, and the router is also done. So we'll try to ping from this end to this end. So one method with which I'm going to ping here is, let me click the PC in the desktop command prompt. So I'll type ping 192.168.3.2. I'm pinging the other side PC 3.2, and let's wait if I could get any response from 3.2. And even the first packet is lost, but all the other packets are successful. So this is one method where you could see the output. That is, the request is sent from this 2.2 to 3.2 and a reply is received from 3.2. And one more method where you can check the output is, let me take this small packet, click it, keep it in the source, click once, and then the destination and click once. So now in the status bar, you could see that it is successful. So this is the second method by which you can check the output. And the third one is through the simulation mode. So this is a simulation mode, and I want all of you to edit the filters. So just click show all or none, go to edit filters, and you can click ICMP because that is the ping protocol. So ICMP. So now let's come to the PC, go to the command prompt, and this time when I give ping, you could see that a packet is shown here, but the response is not yet received. So if you go to PC0, the response is yet to receive. So I'll just move the speed and play. So now you could see that the packet comes to the switch. It will go to the router. Then it comes to the next switch. So this is one more method where you can see live the movement of packets. And if you click the packet on a fly, if you click this packet, the content of the packet, the layers of the packet, the encapsulated layers of the packets, the inbound packet detail, the outbound packet detail, and all these things can be clearly visible. So one more configuration commands we will test. So we have configured the remote access in the switch. So we will try whether it is possible from this PC. It is another PC from another network. So I'll go to the command prompt and I just type telnet 192.168.2.4. That is the IP address that I have configured for the switch. So immediately I give, so it says open only admin allowed, and it is asking for the console password. So if this person has the console password, he can very well navigate into the switch and do the configuration. So I can just see the show start. Okay, so everything is visible here from the switch. So this is how you will do the remote access. So now, as far as the configuration of the router is concerned, what is that we discuss? A quick recap is, even all these configuration commands, you can do it for router as well. So configuration of router, we saw set IP address for interfaces and also how to up the interface. So these are the basic configuration commands for a router and a switch, and also a basic topology configuration using packet tracer.